Hey everyone, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. We have a little show and tell today. A toy from 1978, an item I bought on auction a while back. Have not tested. We're going to test it live today. What we're looking at today is a superheroes record player with some cool logos on it. Batman, Robin, model SP14. This is made in the USA from the DJ Corporation, Holbrook, Massachusetts. Superman, Wonder Woman. Is there anything on the bottom of it? Oh yeah, there actually is. There we go. All the classic logos and all the classic characters. Now, this is from 1978. Many such record players were made back in the day for kids. Records, obviously, vinyl was a going thing from the 1930s, 20s, well into the 1980s. So vinyl records have a bigger place probably in pop culture than CDs, cassette tapes, 8-tracks, just based on longevity. And of course, they've made a comeback recently. And so parents would oftentimes want to get something like this for their kids so they could listen to records in their room by themselves, or they'd probably oftentimes drag it out to the living room. Now, one of the reasons why is that folks didn't have as much disposable income back in the day. So your record player, your stereo system, your hi-fi didn't necessarily want the kids playing with. They could screw it up. You had to have things set right, all that kind of good stuff. But also the kids could go listen to their stuff in their room and not bug the parents. So this is a completely self-contained object, has its own speakers, not the greatest speakers in the world, but it has its own speakers. And we'll see how well it plays. Or, in fact, if it will even turn on. So let's open this dude up. And here we go. And on the interior, we have the superheroes. The classic DC superheroes. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and, of course, Robin, the Boy Wonder. Here we have the arm. Now, the arm of this thing, it actually will come out of this little hole, which is probably a sign that it's somewhat broken. There's a spring on it. There's a little clip over here that holds this thing steady. And you just have to kind of pop it off of there. You'll notice, here's your speaker. These little holes right here, that's your speaker. Here's where you can, whoops, moved it the wrong way. Here's where you can select 45 or 33s, that's revolutions per minute. Here's the cord. Now, one thing about the cord is it does sort of want to get in the way of the arm, which is not the greatest design in the world. Let's move the cord over this way. But I do like that it folds up into the device, so you don't have that in the way. And I just happen to have an extension cord over here for just such an occasion. There we go. So let's let that down. Hopefully it won't make too much of a noise and get in the way. Okay, and then you have, here's your really the only control, on and off, and presumably it will also control the volume. So, to test this out, when I was a kid, I had a power record of a Superman story. And that would have been the perfect doggone thing to test this with. Sadly, at some point, it went away. But what I did find going through my records was this. Whoops, as the record slides out. This is, let's hold it close, Rankin-Bass production of The Hobbit. See the pictures, hear the record, read the book. We're not going to go through this entire thing today. Maybe I will at some point. I will We'll show the back of it, though. Walt Disney Book and Record. Yeah, Disneyland Records did a lot of this kind of stuff, but I thought we can put this record on and just listen to a minute of it, or more precisely, probably 30 seconds of it, because I think that's what you can get away with before you get in any kind of trouble. So Disneyland, Rankin-Bass production, you see what the record looks like. And there's little Bilbo. Almost said Frodo. Side one. And you know what? This has been sitting around for a while too. So in all honesty, hopefully it's going to actually allow me to play something. So first thing we need to test out is, does our superhero record player actually turn on? Well, it does. So that's a good sign. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. Maybe not too much, just to start with. I'm just going to put this down on the record. I'm doing this from a weird angle and don't want to try to get too complicated. Now, the needle might not be any good, so we'll find out here. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Let's turn this off. What do I got this set on? I got it set on a 45, but it did seem like it was going too fast. I wonder if these were done at 33. Well, let's move this over to 33 and find out. That was kind of funny. It was a little high-pitched. All right, let's put this on.
This is the story of the Hobbit. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this. Let's begin now. As everyone knows, hobbits are small, quiet folks who live small, quiet lives in snug underground homes. They never ever visit the world outside, nor do they ever seek adventure. But this is the story of a special hobbit who did once have an adventure, and an exciting one it was. His name was Bilbo Baggins. One fine Wednesday morning, who should appear at Bilbo's door but 13 dwarves and Gandalf, the wandering wizard. Mr. Baggins, I have an adventure in mind for you. Bilbo blinked twice in astonishment. Surely you don't want me.
Okay.
I'm only a simple hobbit. Actually,
we'll go ahead and stop there, because like I said, sometimes you get struck for things like that. I wouldn't imagine that would be the case for this little book, but we'll see. Anyhow, so there you have it, and you get an idea. You didn't get tremendous sound out of these things, but it was good enough for kids. They were primarily going to be listening to relatively simple music and storybooks and things of that nature. You know, once the kids moved up to listening to rock and roll or whatever they were going to listen to, they probably would have had a better turntable to work with by that point. Or they would have just used the hi-fi. They would have been old enough to use it without any real problems. But I just wanted to go ahead and take a quick look at this, and I'm delighted that it is functional, that it does actually work, and actually works pretty decent. It was, look, it's an old record, it's an old device. The sound that came out of it is actually pretty good, all things considered. It's not going to win any awards, but we'll see what it sounds like when I listen to the replay on this. Hopefully it still sounds well enough. But it's a nice little piece of pop culture history. Back when you'd get a lot of this kind of branding on items like this record player. I guess you still do to an extent, not so much, with CD players, or mean, kids are probably just listening to streaming at the moment anyways. But the classic DC superheroes that showed up on a lot of products. And this is 1978. We're going full-scale Superman movies coming out right around that year. You know, Batman is still on TV. Wonder Woman is probably still on TV. You know, maybe in reruns at that point. I'm trying to remember when the Wonder Woman show ran. But superheroes are huge. Super Friends on, you know, Saturday mornings. So the superheroes are a big deal. And obviously, it's just a record player. You can brand it with anything. Doesn't matter. But this is a way to just sort of catch a kid's eye in the grocery store, in the department store, and maybe have mom and dad pick this particular record out. It's in relatively good shape. You could see there's a little schmutz. I gave it an overall rinse, and you can also see there's some little tears in the cover. The top of it, I guess I can't close it that well with the cord sticking out, but let me move the cord a little bit. And you can see it's scuffed up. There are some little tears. Looks like a sticker might have been put here at one point. Hey, this was used by a kid and it was well loved, and I'm just happy that this sucker still actually produces a sound. So, what do you say, folks? Did you have one of these when you were a kid? You have any good memories of it? What were your favorite records when you were a kid? If you enjoyed this little video, please give it a like. Maybe think about subscribing to the channel, where I do a lot of pop culture reviews, not just toys, but also comic books, normal books, TV shows, movies, maybe something else in there. I don't know. If it's pop culture, I like to talk about it, and I like to show a few things off. So you might want to subscribe or maybe share with a friend. But until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Try to have a little fun. Maybe rock out to some records on a sweet hi-fi system like this. And I'll see you hopefully soon again in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.